Hi, I'm John Underhill at Underhill Creations. Thanks again for joining me. In this short video of the Bandit series, I'm going to show you how I take scrap from a color cast and make a custom center band for the Bandit rollerball pen exclusively at exoticblanks.com. So here's why I like the Bandit so well. It allows me to customize my center bands as well as my finials. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to take this color cast scrap and I'm going to make a center band that fits inside of here. This is roughly, I believe it's just under a ½ inch, like 15-30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead, part this off. Now I have two options. I can either drill this on the lathe and then part it off, or it really doesn't matter. I can part it off to the depth I need to fit this, to the width, and then drill it on my drill press. Either way is going to work. Alright, I've opted to drill on the lathe because I think I get a more precise hole and I don't have to worry about anything moving on me as I'm drilling it. So I've got the scrap wood in my chuck and my piece is faced so it's nice and flat, and now I'm going to drill that hole. Alright, now we're good to go. I'm not worried about this being perfectly centered in the piece as long as I have enough depth to come outside of that rim on that center band. Alright, now we're going to part this off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the existing center band as a guide, and I'm going to hold it up here, find a light spot in the silver area here, and I'm going to mark it. And now I know when I cut that line, that should give me the depth that I want. If I'm a little large, I can always lay it on a belt sander and knock it down. If I'm a little small, I'll just have to build it up with some CA or live with it. Alright, so when I hold this up here, we're just a tad bit thick. So what I'm going to do is lay a piece of 220 sandpaper down. I'm just going to place that on top and just make some motion across it. I'll turn it so that way I'm not sanding more off one side than the other. I want to keep it as uniform as possible. I'm not going to take a lot off, just enough to where it fits inside of that band. And there we have it. Fits in there nicely. Alright, so this next part, what I like to do is use a vise, and I'm going to place the center band in there about half, right, midway down. Now this also works very well with wood, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to snap this. I want to apply equal pressure and break it, so that way I only have two pieces, and now I can glue these two back together around that center band. And when I glue these back together, the glue will fill the cracks and you won't see them. This works very well with wood, a lot easier with wood than it does with acrylic, because wood will break easier along that grain. Alright, so here's how I would approach this. I'm going to be using some Glue Boost Thin, and this is just the CA. This isn't the fill and finish, this is the CA. So basically I'm going to spray around here. I want to get some glue dry on the metal. So then I'm going to apply some CA on here. And I'm going to push one side on And I'm not concerned about the metal because it's stainless steel, and I'm going to turn this while it's on the lathe. Give it a little shot of glue dry. That serves me two purposes. It gets some glue dry in on the metal and in the exposed brake area that I'm going to glue back together, and will help bond that back together. Now I'm going to take and put and figure out which way it goes. It looks like it goes this way. Right? Yep. Now, one thing you have to be careful of, you don't want to get any glue on this surface because it will obstruct you pushing this together. And I did get a little bit in here, so I'm going to take a razor blade and clean that out. There we go. That'll work just fine. And now I'm going to squeeze these together, spray it with some glue dry. While that sets up, doesn't take long. There we go. I spray the top of it. And if you're worried about it, you can come in here and saturate this edge with a little bit of glue, just to soak in all them areas where we broke it. I don't think it's a big deal. It's going to be just fine because we got the glue down deep where we need it, which is below that wall. And after we turn this down, if there's any show of a crack, we'll fill it with CA and you won't be able to see it. So we're not concerned about how large this is or how on center it is, because now when we chuck this up on our lathe, we're going to turn that center. We just want to make sure we had enough room for the resin to come out beyond the side of our centerpiece here. So I'm going to let this dry for maybe half hour or so, and then we'll put it on the lathe and turn it down. What I'm going to do that is I'm going to remove the threaded area. We don't need this on the lathe. We don't want to damage that. So we're only going to use the metal piece here. And we'll put this on the lathe. Alright, so here's how I'm going to mount this on the lathe. I'm going to take my turn between center mandrel, and I'm going to place 7mm bushings on first. These are just the slimline bushings. And then I'm going to take the Delrin non-stick bushings that we use for finishing, and I'm going to place them on second. What that's going to allow me to do is put this in between them so that these two posts don't run into each other before this is secure. So I'm simply going to hold that up there, slide my tailstock in, lock it down, tighten it snug, and now I'm ready to turn. Now, because this is stainless steel, we're not concerned about marring the finish. We're going to turn this down, basically down to the level of the stainless, and then we're going to apply our finish and polish it and assemble. We're turn down to our finished surface, and now we can apply our glue boost finish over the top of that, polish it, and be ready to assemble. I'm applying some of the fill and finish ultra thin first. And we're going to look to see if that crack is visible where we broke it. And with everything going on in that blank, it doesn't appear to be visible anywhere. I don't feel it. So now I'm going to build up with Fill and Finish Thin, the orange bottle. Now I'm going to lightly sand that down and then micro mesh it like I would the rest of the blank. All right, so as you finish this blank, you may notice that you get some CA on the stainless area here. What you can do is just come in here with a light razor blade and flake it off. That way it still sticks to the acrylic, but you're getting it off the metal. Or you can turn the acrylic below the surface. If you have a small tool, you can get below the surface of these walls and then build your CA in between them. I usually just come in here and kind of pick at it a little bit. It doesn't take much. Once you get under one edge of it, it'll flake off, and it doesn't come off the acrylic as easily, but it'll come right off that stainless steel. That way you don't show any glue edges, and everything looks just like it's supposed to, nice and shiny. There we go. And then what I'll do after I get that down is I'll turn the lathe on and I'll take some steel wool and I'll get that edge in there. That way when we micro mesh this, we'll shine all that, polish it up, and it won't be noticeable. Now I'm going to take a little Yorkshire grit, turn the lathe up higher, and polish it. Alright, and there we have it. Our custom center band. Well, thanks for joining me. That concludes this video, but be sure to check out more under the Bandit series videos for more ideas, tips, and tricks on how you can customize your Bandit pens.